Let's talk about the Revenue business credit card for bad credit. Is it really worth it? And how can it really help you build business credit? Okay, so here's an overview I really want you to pay attention to. So the card is called Revenue. There's a D at the end. So the Revenue credit card is great for business owners with subpar credit. Let's have a conversation about that. So with this card, you have a rewards rate of 3%. There's no annual fee. There is an introductory offer of $500 cashback offer. This is really great. And if you have bad credit, anywhere from 300 to 570 or 670 for that matter, you will actually enjoy this Revenue business credit card. Okay. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. In today's convo, I want to quickly talk to you about Revenue, and I want to tell you whether or not this is a great tool for you. So combining a prepaid business card with a flexible spending line, the Revenue business card plus flex line balances some of the best features of business rewards cards with the convenience and flexibility of business loans or a line of credit. And what we love here is that we love the flexibility that Revenue is introducing in the industry because approvals are based on your business revenue and banking activity. The Revenue Flex line makes capital available to business owners even if they have less than ideal personal or business credit score. So if your business credit score is below 80, Revenue will still take care of you. If your personal credit score is in the subpar zone, you will still work with Revenue. And Revenue also extend spending lines in exchange for a portion of your future business revenue. So you may have access to more capital than you can get via typical subprime or secured card limits. And so you also earn 3% cashback on every purchase made with a card, a stellar rewards rate, especially for business owners with a low credit score or limited credit history. So here, Revenue is trying to be very generous with you because honestly, when you think about 3%, this is really high. Most credit card issuers, either on the business side or the personal side, they will give you like 2%. Some will give you 1.5%, but Revenue is really they're really giving you more. So, however, one thing I need to say here is that this financing model comes with risks. Not only is it impossible to avoid finance charges the way you can use, traditional cards, you have to think about the grace period. So please pay your balance in full. And the Revenue business credit card and the Flex line could be a great way to access more funds than you would be offered with a traditional credit card. So here is a review I want you to pay attention to. So what are the pros and cons of the Revenue business credit card? The pros. You have quick access to financing with limited documentation. In other words, you have money in your hands when you need it. This is really good. So if you're looking for a low doc sort of a business credit card, this is Revenue is one that you might want to consider. And if you can present positive cash flow for your profitable businesses, you are certain to get access to funding even with bad credit. So the bottom line here is that Revenue is not really just looking at your credit. They are looking at your earning potential, your revenue potential. So this is where it's really important to have proper financials so that when you're applying for Revenue, and you can earn rewards for all your purchases to offset some of your financing charges. So this is kind of cool. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having an in-depth review of Revenue, and so you have all the pros and cons. You really have a lot of amenities that come with this business credit card. So what about the cons here? High factor rates can make repayment a hefty task compared to what you might on credit card APRs in the short term. And your factor rate completely negates your cashback earnings. So this is where you have to be really careful about the factor rates you get through Revenue. And the card itself does not report your payment activity to the 3 credit bureaus, making it hard to build credit without paying finance charges on your flex line. So this is one thing that we really wish that Revenue will do pretty soon, because if you are a business owner and you are trying to get business financing, it'll be really great also to have a tool that allows you to build credit, to build a business credit, in the same time. So this is kind of important. So Revenue, if you're listening to this show, I want you to really consider. We think that our team, after doing research, think you can unlock more revenue for your business model if you're able to offer this credit reporting tool, this credit reporting ability, so that you can help business owners increase their paydebt score, their their Experian business credit score, as well as their Equifax business credit score. So here is the approach I really want you to pay attention to. So if you are sitting there and you are thinking about should I or should I not consider Revolut, I want you to really think about. I want to look at the approach. So I want to invite you to have a deeper look into the current card offer. So when we think about Revolut, what are they offering you? Let's have a quick conversation about that. So the rewards rate is pretty high. I've said this before. Not a problem. No questions asked. They win big time. 3% cash back on all purchases. This is really unbeatable. And in terms of welcome offer, you can earn $500 when you make $5,000 in eligible purchases within the first 3 months. So Revolut is paying you $500. And there is no annual fee. This is really good. There is no purchase intro APR. There's no balance transfer APR. There's no regular APR. Because again, the Revolut card is not your traditional business credit card. The Revolut business card currently offers a sign-up bonus, but what it does here is that you are able to have access to a line of credit that is based on your revenue. Okay, so the Revolut business card offers a sign-up bonus of $500, but you gotta make $5,000 in eligible purchases. So once you sign up, Revolut will let you know what those eligible purchases are, because not all purchases are created equal in Revolut's ecosystem. And so when you really think about it, in our view, the $500 when you make $5,000 in eligible purchases within the first 3 months, this is not the best welcome offer available for business owners, but it's easily one of the best you could hope for if you have a limited credit history or low score. And cards that require good to excellent credit can come up with welcome offers valued at $1,000 or more. Spending requirements for this card can be as high as $50,000 in 6 months, making the Revolut card spending requirements much more attainable. Plus, if you are assigned a 1.1 factor rate on your Flex line funds, this bonus alone will offset your finance charges on $5,000 in purchases. So one thing I want to say here is that you got to be really strategic here. You got to ask yourself what really work for you. Because if you split your spending evenly over the 3 months qualification period, you will need to spend around $1,667, okay, per month to earn the welcome offer, which should be reasonable for most business owners. However, you'll need to pay finance charges for the funds you use. So be sure to assess your cash flow before you apply to ensure that you'll have the funds you need to meet the repayment requirements. Let me give you a few pro tips here. So when we think about the Revolut card, now obviously the rewards rate is kind of interesting, right? I just spoke to you about the 3%. So the question is, what's really what is this all about? Is this really worth it? It is just another way for Revolut to make money out of you, to actually milk money out of you. So if you have a credit, let's say if you have a fair credit score or a limited credit history, you will have you'll find a hard time when it comes to you'll have a hard time finding a business card that earns rewards, much less at a rate as high as a Revolut business card. And through the Flex line factor rate, whether it is 1.1 or 1.5, even though this rate will easily outpace your rewards, earning a high cashback rate at least helps offset this cost. So how do you earn, really? Let's talk about that. So the Revolut business card earns an unlimited flat rate of 3% back on all your purchases. And the cool thing is that so you basically Revolut will tell you the categories that where you qualify. So if you don't spend heavily in major business card bonus categories like, let's say, office supplies, travel, or gas, the Revolut business card could be a solid all-purpose rewards option. And it could also make sense as a supplemental rewards card if you already have, let's say, if you already earned more than 3% cashback in some categories and want to maximize your earnings on general purchases. So how do you redeem? So cash rewards earned from card spending are added to your available rewards balance in your card account and are available for a direct deposit if you have a rewards balance of $10 or more. So what will happen here is that every month revenued will gauge your balance, your rewards balance, and if it's more than $10, they'll wire the money to your account. And unlike some other cashback cards, the revenued business card doesn't offer redemption options like travel, gift cards, or online shopping. So while this may be inconvenient, this makes using your rewards a simple process, nothing complicated. So once you redeem your available rewards, your cashback is transferred to the business bank account associated with your revenued card account. So you have to associate a business bank account to your revenued card so that you are able to connect directly to the platform. So this is kind of important. Here is a bonus for you. So I really want to really dig a little deeper here in terms of the rewards. And the question is, how much are the rewards worth? So since this is a cashback card, you don't have to worry about points or redemption values, right? You simply earn cash back. You earn back a percentage of whatever you spend. And since this card earns a 3% cash back on all eligible purchases, you'll get 3 cents back for every dollar you spend. Simple as that. Nothing complicated. That's what we love about the revenue. Like, they're not trying to really complicate something. Some banks, they really give you like they're trying to really razzle dazzle you. They put a lot of stuff, and you have at the end you have no idea what they're talking about. So revenue, very simple, 3%. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation today about the revenue, the business credit card for bad credit. I'm giving you an in-depth review so you have a clear idea what you get yourself into if you were to go with this card. So there are other cardholder perks that comes with the revenue, and one of this card's best trait is its low entry barrier when it comes to your credit score. A big perk if you have fair credit or a limited credit history and needs access to business funding. However, beyond this convenience, there are a few perks on the card. So you have quick, user-friendly application process. So your revenued business card plus FlexLine application is reviewed, and you can get actually approved within an hour. Nothing really. When we actually tested it for a few clients, and they got approved like within 45 minutes, within 30 minutes. You also are not required to move forward with opening an account until you see your spending limits and factor in. So this makes it a lot easier to weigh your options in a complex business funding market. Like, you got to ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this the way to go? You want to think about those things before making a decision. And so spending limits increases with your revenue. So how much funding you are eligible for is based on your current business savings, income, cash flow, and debt. So your spending line evolves with them. This means that as your business grows, so too will your flex line. This is kind of cool because revenue is trying to tie your line to your revenue. And so this is kind of a great perk for business owners who are seeing rapid growth and continuously need more funding for their operations, but may not qualify for a large business loan or credit limits on a traditional credit card. And so one of the pluses of this tool here is that you have no hard credit inquiry. This is kind of cool. So no hard credit inquiry. This is really wonderful. And since your funding decision is based on revenue and cash flow, not your credit score, the revenue business card plus FlexLine is a great fit for cardholders with a limited or less than ideal credit history. And the revenue application is really important to say that it does not require a hard credit inquiry, which keeps your credit score from temporarily dropping when you apply, as it would if you applied for a typical business card. This is a strong benefit if you already have fair or average credit and want to protect or build your score in the first place. Let me give you the decision you really want to pay attention to when you think about revenue. So we want to really dig deeper in terms of rates and fees. So right off the bat, I want to say here is that revenued, there's no annual fee for the revenued card, making it very accessible when it comes to business owners who don't want to have like a lump sum of cash They don't have a lump sum of cash to tap and fees, right? The revenue, the business card also doesn't come with an APR, so you don't have to worry about compounding interest charges. This is really important to really remember, and you could be placed in a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly repayment plan. So these plans vary from one business to the next, but as underwriters, the underwriters will review your application. They will determine your repayment period. At the same time, they determine your factor rate and flex line limits. However, and this is a big however, we have seen there's a lot of entrepreneurs that get this part right, this part wrong. To use your flex line, you have to pay finance charges based on your factor rate, and funds are automatically deducted from your account based on your rate and payback term. You will also face fees if you don't have enough money in your account, and your payment bounces $35 for each day if it's assessed. And one thing you need to understand here is that when we talk about factor rate, we need to clarify the term here. So a factor rate is different from an interest rate and is presented to cardholders as a decimal rather than a percentage. So rates typically range from 1.1 and 1.5, which is essentially a 10% to 50% charge to access funds. For example, if you make, let's say, a $5,000 purchase with a factor rate of 1.1, then you will owe 5,000 plus 500 in finance charges. To determine your spending line and factor rate, the revenued business card plus flex line issuer, Certain Bank, will analyze your cash flow, past transactions, and annual revenue. So this rate only applies to funds you use. So if you have a spending limit of 5,000 but only use 1,000, you will only face finance charges on the 1,000 you use. So it's only the amount you use. So some factor rates are as low as 1.1 or 1.2, relatively low rates compared to APR on a standard credit card. But depending on how quickly you can cover your purchases, finance charges on this card may still end up being more expensive than carrying a balance on a credit card. So this is something you need to think about. So let's quickly talk about the rivals before we actually close to this conversation. So when we talk about revenued, how does the revenued business card compare to other credit cards or other business cards for that matter? So let's talk about revenued business card versus a Chase Inc. Business Unlimited credit card. So the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited credit card earns, actually, it's really a solid flat rate cashback card that awards cardholders with 1.5% back on all purchases. It has no annual fee and a welcome offer of $750 in cashback after you spent $6,000 in the first 3 months you hold the card. Okay, you also need at least good credit to be approved for the card, so it might be out of reach for you if you are primarily interested in the revenued business card as a limited or damaged credit options. However, if you meet the credit requirements, then the Inc. Business Limited might be the better choice between either card because you can avoid interest by paying off your balance in full each month. On the revenued card, you must pay the same total finance charges based on your factor rate, whether your payback term is 30 days or several months. Plus, if you are interested in short-term financing, the Inc. Business Unlimited card's 12-month 0% intro APR on new purchases, that offer is way better. Okay, and so what about the revenued business card versus the capital on tap business credit card? This is another card that we have analyzed. We actually have reviewed this card before. So the Capital on Tap Business Credit Card earns the same rewards rate as the Inc. Business Unlimited, but it has a comparatively weak welcome offer. So you will need to spend a substantial $15,000 in the first 3 months to earn $200 cash back. Think about it. However, the Capital on Tap card stands out for its modest APR range. You can get a variable APR as low as 17.74%. or up to 35.99% depending on your creditworthiness. If you're lucky enough to qualify for the low-end APR, this card could make sense as a way to finance purchases or free up cash flow without paying a ton in interest charges. So this is really what you have to think about. Unfortunately, this card does not have an introductory APR period, so if you need to finance purchases over several months but have a less than ideal credit score, you might be better off going with the revenued business card and its factor rate based model. Okay, so what are the best cards to pair with the revenue business card? It really depends. So, it might be a great idea to pair this card with a secure business card if you are working on your personal credit score. So, while the revenue business card can help you access funding with a damaged or limited credit history, it is not the most practical long-term credit building option since you cannot avoid finance charges. A secured business card may prove less expensive and more efficient at building credit for you. And an option like the Bank of America Business Advantage Unlimited Cash Rewards secure credit card can be a great choice because it earns unlimited 1.5% back on all purchases and charges no annual fee. So those are something to think about. So here is a verdict for you. So is the revenued business card actually worth it? Well, if you have, let's say, if you have a decent credit score and never carry a balance on your credit cards, you will likely want to skip the revenued business card plus FlexLine. The finance charges you will pay with the revenued business card plus FlexLine factor rate can be substantial depending on the rate you qualify for and how much of your financing you use. Plus the fact that you are locked into paying these charges regardless of when you pay off purchases is really, in our view, unfortunate given the flexibility available with credit cards when it comes to interest. So with the traditional credit card, you can skip interest charges simply by paying off your balance each billing cycle. However, if you have a fair credit score or no credit history at all, and you cannot qualify for a traditional business card or a low-income business loan, then the revenued combo may be your best option for funding for your business. Or if you plan to carry a balance long term, a factor rate might actually be an advantage for you because it is a fixed rate and finance charges don't compound like interest as long as you meet your repayment terms. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly talking to you about the revenued business credit card, and I give you the overview, the review, the approach, the pro tips, the bonus, and the decision, as well as the rivals and the verdict. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.